Hey everyone, so it's Hearth and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about Mabon and how we can celebrate it whether we are in the broom closet or out of the broom closet. So let's get on with the video. So Mabon is one of those frequently forgotten Wiccan holidays. It falls sort of between the fire festivals of Beltane and the New Year of Samhain, and honestly just kind of disappears in between. People tend to forget it. So let's bring it out into the open and talk about how we can celebrate Mabon in all its glory. So for everyone who doesn't know, Mabon is a Wiccan festival. There are 8 Sabbats in the Wiccan Wheel of the year, and Mabon is the one just before Samhain, which is the New Year. So Mabon is the Wiccan Harvest Festival. It's where we appreciate abundance, the harvest, prosperity, all of the positive things in our lives. It's essentially the equivalent of Thanksgiving, but to Wiccans, some pagans and some witches. So Mabon is celebrated on different dates depending on the year and depending on your location. So in the Northern Hemisphere, it's usually celebrated between the 21st and the 23rd of September. It really does depend on the year. If you are in the Southern Hemisphere, the wheel of the year is essentially rotated like 180 degrees. So I will put some links in the description box for how you can figure out the dates for you if you are in the Southern Hemisphere. So I know that celebrating Sabbats tends to be quite difficult if you are still in the broom closet. You don't necessarily know what you can do, what you can get away with, what kind of things you can do to celebrate a holiday without it being too obvious that it's a Wiccan holiday, and that's honestly kind of tricky to do. So in this entire list of things you can do to celebrate Mabon, I've included things for broom closet witches and out of the broom closet witches, so that everyone can enjoy the Mabon season to its fullest. So let's start with things that people in the broom closet and others can do. So you can cook a meal. That is a really brilliant way to celebrate Mabon. Mabon is all about the harvest. It's about fulfillment, the fruits of our labours. And so cooking is a really great way of doing that. Bake, especially things with apple in. Apple and berries and pumpkins are really, really good at Mabon. And even just cooking a regular meal, just, ask your family if they'd be willing to let you cook tonight, or cook a feast with your family just for the hell of it. People don't necessarily need to know that it's for Mabon, it's just the sharing of food and the fulfillment of being able to have a really good meal. So cooking food is a fantastic way to celebrate Mabon. Another great way is to just enjoy nature. Mabon is the changing of the seasons. In Wicca, it's the transfer from the mother goddess into the crone goddess. It's about the darkening of nights, the changing of leaves, the altering of the air. So go out into nature, enjoy it, spend some time looking at the colours of the leaves, enjoying the cool breeze, and just anticipating the change as the seasons come, because that's what Mabon is all about. Another good thing is to finish projects before the new year, so before Samhain. So this is sort of the ideal time to be finishing off projects. It's about clearing out all of the old so you can bring in the new when it comes to Samhain and the new year. So if you need to clean, if you have lots of projects that you haven't quite finished yet, if you have loose ends to tie up, this is the perfect time of the year to be doing it. So if you work with deities, whether that is deities in general or specifically the Wiccan deities, you can work with the crone energy. So I personally work with Caridwen, who is considered to be a crone deity, so I would generally work more with her during this time of the year because it is sort of her time of the year, and it's really good for connecting with the crone energy. A lot of younger practitioners particularly, we tend to forget to work with the crone energy. Her energy is just as important as the maiden and the mother and all deities other than that. And so this is the perfect time of the year to connect with that crone energy, work with crone deities that maybe we've never connected with before. So now is sort of the perfect time to be doing that. So a good fun thing to do that is done by lots of people and not only people that celebrate Mabon is to create corn dolls. They are such a cute, sweet thing to do at this time of the year. I've seen lots of children making them at like craft fairs and stuff, and people don't need to know that you can make a little poppet or you can make a little goddess figure out of a corn doll and no one would know. It's just a really autumnal craft that a lot of people like to get involved in, and you can add that little secret magic twist to it because they can be used as poppets or doll babies, and they can be used as goddess or deity representation. So it's a really good thing to do at this time of the year. And then the last thing that's super duper good for broom closeted practitioners or Wiccans or pagans is to just go and harvest. The whole point of this time of year in life is it's the time where you can reap the harvest. You see a lot of plants, a lot of bushes and trees giving their harvest at this time of year. So you get a lot of blackcurrants, you get a lot of apples, you get pumpkins. And now is kind of the ideal time to go and harvest it. Go up to your local woods, see if you can find some really nice blackberry bushes, pick some blackberries, bake something, cook something, eat them as they are. It's sort of the ideal time to connect with the way things were before by going out and walking in the shoes of the people that did have to harvest their own food. We are so fortunate in this day and age that we can just go and get food whenever we want. And now is kind of the ideal time to think back to the way it was before and to walk in our ancestors' footsteps and collect our own food and work with it as they would have. So it seems like a completely normal thing to do, just walking up to the woods and picking blackberries. It can be disguised as nothing more than wanting to bake blackberry crumble, which is delicious. But underneath the surface, it's a way of connecting to your ancestors, and it's a way of connecting to earth energies, which is perfect at this time of year. So the next set of ideas for things you can do during the Mabon season are more for people who are out of the broom closet. Now, I'm not saying that people in the broom closet can't do these things, because if you feel like you can comfortably, then brilliant, go for it, because there are some really cool things in this next section, but they are mainly for people who have the freedom to do more with their space and their appearance and their home and that kind of thing. So the first thing is probably the most obvious: set up a Mabon altar. So some people have seasonal altars that change throughout the time and the seasons, and a Mabon altar is absolutely brilliant. Set up some candles on there in the Mabon colours of gold and brown and red. Put some leaves on there. Dried fruit as offerings are really nice. You can have symbols on there. You can change the colour of your altar. Just decorate it in the way that makes you feel you connect best to the Mabon energy. And it's really nice to have this sort of changing of the seasons altar, because it allows you to stay in tune with the wheel of the year. I think in this day and age it's so easy to lose track of it because we're so tied up in computers and tablets and phones that we can kind of forget. So if you have your Mabon altar set up, you'll know it's Mabon, and you'll know to remember to give thanks for what you've got, to appreciate the abundance. So another idea for the Mabon season is to do divination for the next season. So I know a lot of people do Sabbath divination, which is where on the eve of a Sabbath you do a divination for the time leading up to the next Sabbath, and you just make your way around the wheel of the year, just doing divination for the next section, divination for the next section, just to give you an idea of what's coming and what you need to personally work on in your life. So another thing you can do is a thankfulness ritual. Now this can work with ancestors, spirits, deities, earth energy, the energy of Mabon in general, and it's just generally a nice way of just saying thanks. It's giving back, so it's giving offerings to your deities, your spirits, your ancestors, whoever you choose to work with, if you choose to work with anything. Or it's giving appreciation back to the earth. It's giving thanks for everything you have in your life that's good, and really coming to terms with it, appreciating it, and thanking just the energy around for giving you the opportunities to have all of these things. So another good idea is either creating or using a Mabon incense. So these can be bought. I'm pretty certain that you can get stick incense in the sabbats. There's also lots of recipes online for sabbat incense that you can use, or you can go and have one professionally blended and get it from a professional and just burn it during the season. Mabon incense is so warm, it's so cozy and nice, and honestly it's just the ideal thing to burn at this time of year. And this can be done by broom closet witches if you are able to burn things. I know when I was in the broom closet I was not allowed to burn anything, and that's why it's in this section. So burning and making Mabon incense is really nice. It connects you to the herbal energy of the time of year, and honestly it just smells really great to fill your home with the lovely smell of Mabon incense. So another good thing, if you are able to, is to decorate your home for Mabon. So beyond just the altar, it's to have corn dolls out. It's to make corn sort of drapes and vine drapes, and to make vine pentacles, and to just change the setup of your home, because I think it's really nice at this time of year to just be able to feel the autumnal energy. I mean, a lot of people now are starting to crave pumpkin spice, so it's sort of the perfect time to change your home, and it also changes the vibration and the energy of your space. It really alters the feeling of a place, and it feels a lot homier and a lot cozier when you do that for Mabon. So you can also cleanse, purify and protect your home. Now, I know that a lot of people do this at Imbolc. I tend to prefer to do it at Mabon. It's essentially just a way of clearing out the old, bringing in the new protections before the dark half of the year. I find I have a lot more issues with rogue energies and with spirits, especially over Samhain, so it's always a good idea at this time of year to do a good house cleanse, a good tool cleanse, just purify everything, protect everything before we go into the dark time of the year. And then the last thing that I have that you can do during Mabon is to work with apples. So apples and pomegranates are really big at this time of year, but the apple in particular, especially in English culture, is really important when it comes to Mabon and witches and Wiccans in general. So if you guys didn't already know, if you take an apple and you cut it horizontally through the middle, so the top half has the core and the bottom half has the stalk at the base, if you separate the apple in half, they actually form a pentacle in the seeds. And at this time of year, apples are really good as offerings to deities, to spirits, to energies, to the earth, ancestors. They're a way of connecting magical energy to the earth, because we can see one of the most important symbols to us, the pentagram, inside the apple naturally formed. So do some workings with them. Something that's really, really good to do, if you cut it in half, leave it as an offering, and then once you feel as though you're ready to consume the apple, not the seeds obviously, and you can actually save the seeds for the rest of the year to put into abundance and prosperity rituals. So that's a really good thing to do. It's super fun as well. I love seeing the pentagram appear in the middle as you cut through the apple. It's really, really cool. If you have never done it, it's really, really cool. So that is my selection of things you can do to celebrate Mabon, whether you are in the broom closet or out of the broom closet. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to hear and see on Instagram possibly some of your Mabon celebrations going on. I have put loads of links in the description box below for information about Mabon, cool things that you can do, things you can do with children, which is wonderful at this time of year. Getting them involved is just so nice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I would really, really appreciate it. And I will see you next Saturday at 6 p.m. Bye!